Did they finally do it? Did Blizzard finally end up changing the competitive system in a way that it's actually worth grinding? And are these changes enough to really save Overwatch 2 and kind of redeem the game in terms of how the public outside of the Overwatch community perceives it? I've got to say, I'm actually really happy with what they did with these competitive changes. I've had people asking me for days, like, Sam, talk about these competitive changes. And to be honest, how bad this system was one of the main reasons why I wanted to step away from the game in May, aside from PvP, or aside from PvE rather, one of the biggest gripes that a lot of the Overwatch 1 veterans had with Overwatch 2 is like, look, like, not only did the PvE get canceled, but it feels like we have a worse version of the PvP that we already loved. Like, we didn't ask for a new competitive system, and this one doesn't really function in a way that favors the competitive player. And Gavin Winters, who's, I believe, in charge of a lot of this stuff, I've heard great things about him, to be honest with you. He seems like a straight shooter from what my buddies have told me. And again, I'm not really affiliated with Blizzard anymore. I'm not in the creator server. So this is my reaction to this was the same as yours. So let's break down this new competitive system, what we know about it, what we don't, what's good, what's bad. To be honest, I didn't see any bad at all. This actually looks all good. So you got to tip the hat and give them credit. This is the kind of stuff that needs to happen in order for Overwatch to actually move back into the good graces of PvP, because a lot of the things that frankly were promised about Overwatch 2 PvP, now we're just completely wrong in the sense, oh, we think it's fair for heroes to be behind the battle pass for a long period of time. Well, you know, Alari's still the best hero in the game, and it's been like 3 or 4 months, you know, and a lot of these people, especially Overwatch 1 veterans who didn't play the battle pass, who bought the original game, still have these heroes locked months later unless you do this crazy hero challenge for it or you pay for it. And the rank system too, it doesn't reward the competitive player at all compared to the previous system. And a lot of people, including myself, really hated that. So let's break this down. Let's read this Forbes article. There's going to be a link to it down in the description. Let's break this down. So let's see here. Blizzard has been talking about major changes for Overwatch 2's competitive mode for a while, and at BlizzCon, it took the opportunity to break some of those down. A number of changes are on the way in Season 9, which should start in February. Senior systems designer Gavin Winter revealed that the Overwatch team is removing the widely disliked requirement to get 5 wins or 15 losses, which again is just silly, to get a rank update. Loss streaks would guarantee that you were getting to rank down, so what's the incentive to keep playing if you're on one? Replacing that system is the competitive overview page designed to make your rank more transparent. Your rank will soon update after every match, and you'll be able to see how close you are to making the up or down based on a progress bar. As soon as you reach either end of that bar, your rank is going to change. The green arrows under the bar are called ranked modifiers. The idea is to give you a clearer sense of why your rank changed in a certain direction. If you win several games in a row, you'll get a boost thanks to the streak modifier. This information on the button page provides more details on all of these modifiers. And shout out to Forbes again for this article. So let's take a look at what Gavin had to say on one of the panels. And we will take a look at this. Is this, here we go. Yep, here we go. All right, let's take a look at this, guys.
First, we're removing the requirement to get 5 wins or 15 losses to get a competitive update. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how you can hear people cheer, too. Oh, is that my light? What is that?
So, you know, loss streaks would guarantee that you were going to rank down, so what's the incentive to keep playing if you're on one? In its place, we're adding a new page that makes your rank more transparent than ever. Let's go. We call this the competitive overview. With this new system, your rank will update after every match, win or loss. The progress bar at the bottom
looks much better.
Exactly how much your rank increased after this win.
And also, I got to give a shout out to them there too, because I'm telling you, if I had to make a presentation like this, I'd be pacing. Like, I wouldn't be able to sit still. I'd be pacing around like a madman.
Ranking up to Plat 5 is on the right, and ranking down to Gold 2 is on the left.
And when you hit that, so when you win a game and it hits Plat 5, you immediately rank up to Plat 5. You're not waiting extra games to do something like that. It just happens.
Yeah. First,
so yeah, let's cut away. So they kind of sit there and explain that. And look, this is really, really good. Again, like, one of the biggest frustrations is that it really seemed like the competitive system was just trying to smoke and mirrors casuals to keep playing and be like, oh, it's okay if you lost. We're just not going to show you. So you only get positive feedback and keep playing. But, you know, that model is inherently flawed because, again, the competitive mode should be catered to competitive players. When you queue comp, it's a competitive environment, right? Trying to make it more casual friendly goes against the interest of what the product should be, a competitive system. Like, Overwatch Quick Play is great. It does very, very well. The competitive mode should cater to that competitive scene. And they're doing a lot more things aside from that to really cater to the competitive player. One thing that they're actually bringing back or ranked modifiers, one of them being a win streak bonus, right? That's something that we haven't seen since way back in the day, Overwatch 1, where if you went on like a 4 or 5 game win streak, that 6th win would give you 150 SR. That's a skill tier division and a half right now. So that was a little bit too much, so they ended up removing it. But, I definitely think there's room for those things to be in there and incentivize the win streak bonus. I think it's something that's super, 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 super cool, but it needs to be a minor bonus. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, even like a 20% additional rank up for a 4-game win streak per win. It doesn't have to be something crazy that'll boost somebody, right? But you can reward people for your wins. And I think that's actually pretty good, like increasing the reward for when you do well. And the punishment for the loss streak, I'm not sure if that even needs to be there. Well, it probably does. But regardless, super interesting change, and these ranked modifiers are actually going to be really, really good, and I think it's something that they should be happy how they're implementing. So it's not a return of the old skill rating, but this should provide more clarity on where your rank is and how close you are to moving up or down the ladder. It's kind of the best of both worlds, actually, where what we liked about the SR system on one hand is that, hey, I can actually see exactly where I stand in this rank, but it was definitely harder for casuals to understand. But what's good about the new system is that, the skill tier divisions, it's very easy for someone to pick it up and understand what it is, actually, instead of just looking at the numbers. So there's a chance here, and I'll be honest with you, that this is the best rank system that Overwatch has ever seen in its life, right? Because it's going to capture the best of both, and it's adding a lot of that actual difference making in terms of modifiers to this system that I actually kind of liked about old Overwatch 1. I know there was a lot of problems with performance-based SR. For example, how performance-based SR worked. If you played Mercy in the support role, you could only really get a healing stat. So it really just looked at your stats and how much you were doing and gave you more SR based on that. But if you played Ana and you healed and did damage and you were able to frag out alongside that damage, well, you got more SR for your wins in Diamond and below because the game thought you were doing more, even though if you were like a pixel perfect Mercy, like you weren't going to get that value. Another example is like Sombra was a big issue because like I remember like you get more SR per win if you won on Sombra because like how they measured her stats, she output less statistically than like, I don't know, Soldier. So they compensated for that and said, even if you're underperforming as a Sombra, like you can have a 48% win rate, but the wins are going to reward you more because she's like a bad hero and the losses will hurt you less. And that pissed people off. So it was very hard to actually implement like performance-based SR in a game that has so many variety of characters that play in different ways and interact in the game in different ways. There was no way to really do that accurately. However, win streaks, if you're winning, you're winning. You're losing, you're losing. If you've won 4 games in a row, you probably contributed to that, right? So you can just give a small bonus for that, and I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, this new system actually fixes a lot of the big reasons that players like myself just wanted to give up on Overwatch. It just was, why are we stuck with the worst system in a game that we, didn't even get what the whole reason what the 2 was for? So they're remedying that, and they're actually fixing that. I got to give them credit. This is good. So yeah, and perhaps in bigger news, there will be a rank reset, but not a full MMR reset in Season 9. Placement matches are returning. As you work through your 10 placement matches, you will see a rank prediction based on your wins and losses thus far. And I really like that, man. I really like that. The transparency is what people have wanted forever in Overwatch. The scoreboard has been a great addition. Tons of other things have been great. If they can just get back to the visual rewards and the transparency, I want my border back. I just hit Diamond Border. It looked freaking gorgeous. I loved it, right? I want to get my Diamond Border back. I want to be able to see my rank in game. Like decasualify ranked. Ranked is ranked. It should be for the competitive player. That's what it's designed to be. Stop trying to make ranked super casual from a systems POV. And this is what this update does. They have acknowledged that and they're walking it back. And I'm happy for them. This is kind of what we need. Placement games will account for more significant changes to your rank. Blizzard hopes to reset ranks every year, which is great, while making big changes to systems and hero balance, which, that's the big red flag that Blizzard has always had. Gavin Winter said, we want to give everyone a chance to earn a new rank because we'll also be redistributing players at all ranks. A redistribution can help players who have been hard stuck at certain ranks escape from that. Ooh. A little bit of red flags going up there, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, if you're good, you'll climb. If you're bad, you won't. And I'm going to trust that part of the instinct. I will say, in Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1, something that people don't talk about a lot with the rank system is how much easier it is to rank up, especially throughout the high tiers, right? In Overwatch 1, in order to go from Diamond to Masters, no matter how good you were, no matter how well you're performing, right? You had to win 25 more games than you had losses just to go up 25 SR. So it wasn't just like, oh, I need to win 25 games. You had to be plus 25 games in that season in order to go up that 500 SR. And the same is true from Masters to GM, no matter how well you were playing. If I went 70-0, no matter what happened, I'm getting that 24 SR. But in Overwatch 2, you can climb through these ranks way quicker, and it's much better at reading what your actual rank is. So I'll have some faith in that, and I'll see what they can really cook up there. There also will be a brand new reward in Season 9, Emerald Weapons. Blizzard plans to provide a new competitive rewards every year as well. This artwork on the Emerald Weapons are not final, but Blizzard gave a sense of what they'll look like. So, Emerald Weapons, cool, I guess. If you like green, I don't know. So I've met so many people that really like the color green. Give me some sapphires, dude. Give me sapphire weapons. Hell yeah, I love that. Give me Kentucky blue, baby, all day. Cats by 90. No, I think this is cool. Again, like this is all the stuff that we would have expected in a new game for PvP. All of this, right? This is what we would have wanted the whole time, right? So I think it's finally like Overwatch 2 with them focusing on PvP. It's probably going to take another year, right? I'm curious where they'll be in Q4 of BlizzCon, I guess, of next year, of 2024. I think, after 3 years of actually being out and working on Overwatch 2, that's probably when the game will be healthy again. I think that's when, like, the crossover events they've been doing have been pretty sweet, dude. Like, I'm not a huge K-pop fan, but I thought it was sick, right? So, yeah, all you girlies out there, I'm sure you fuck with it. So, yeah, you guys have fun K-popping it up and dancing and getting the cute skins, I guess, as people have been saying. So, yeah, you rock that. All that stuff has been sick. It's just, it really sucked to see the systems of this game be objectively downgraded. And now they're fixing that. So, that's good. Let's see. Elsewhere, competitive challenges are going away, and there will be a new page that Team 4 hopes will make it clearer to players about how they will earn seasonal rewards. That's great. On top of that, now at the start of each match, competitive start screen will show you the range of players in the lobby. So if the lowest player you have is gold 2 and the highest you have is plat 4, there'll be a hyphen with a gold 2 and a plat 4. So you know the range of players that are in that game. Again, actually, I think that's an upgrade instead of the average, because now you can see, okay, this is excuse me. This is the range of players in game, which is more accurate, and that's honestly a good change. Sometime after Season 9, Blizzard will remove most of the current grouping restrictions in Ranked. This will help folks play competitive games with more of their friends. This is something I've talked about for a long time. Disabling stacking in Grandmaster, at least, and this is a very niche problem that you guys probably don't deal with, was one of the most devastating blows to this game. And I don't care what kind of pro player complains, what kind of one-trick complains, all of you guys are coping. Nothing did more damage to the high-end Overwatch scene from a streamer's perspective and even like a community's perspective than disabling stacking altogether at Grandmaster Plus. I don't care if people exploit ladder. I don't care if they stack to rank 1. It made people give a shit. And that's the bottom line. Not to mention all the big streamer stacks that really drive the popularity of games nowadays. Guys like Tim the Tatman, guys like XQC, guys like even the Brandito stacks back in the day. Nobody played the game anymore because they couldn't play and stack with their friends. So, this is just such a great thing for Overwatch to be able to ironically break back into the casual scene by opening up these restrictions and allowing friends to play with each other. Because the reality is you get closer to the core experience of what Overwatch competitive should be when you allow stacking. And I get it, lobbies can be unfair. Well, guess what? Lobbies are unfair now when I get freaking Moira's Lab Rat on my team, one-tricking Moira in top 100 when they have an OWL team on their team. Guess what? We're going to lose that game 9 times out of 10, regardless now. So I'd rather lose to a team of friends who are trying and playing the game properly than freaking my Glue Eater Moiras running around in the back line in top 100 games that I have 0% chance to win anyway. It still happens now, guys. And I'd rather it happen if it's going to happen anyway, I'd rather have the atmosphere where people are actually trying and grinding and wanting to win and putting in passion. And if I get smoked, guess what? I'm going to go in my bed and scream at the top of my lungs, my pillow, slam my desk, break it in half. But you know what? At least I cared about the product and I was pissed off enough because I gave a shit than running around trolling on Soldier going 10 deaths per 10 because nobody on my team is trying. That's the kind of atmosphere that you want to create, and that's what stacking allows. Now, they do have another rank coming out called Ultimate, which is going to be above Grandmaster. So some unranked Ultimates are going to be coming, baby. We'll talk more about that in a bit, but I know the stacking argument has been debated pretty heavily. I'd argue that it drove away so many people out of the community that, you know, it's just, I understand there are negatives to it 100%, but the pros outweigh the cons, and peak Overwatch is when stacking was around. Bring that shit back. Let's effing go. Okay, so this has a huge impact on matchmaking. To combat that, groups with a large disparity in a skill level, say a duo of bronze and platinum players, will be designated as a Y group and will only be able to play with similar groups. We'll try to find groups with similar shape as yours. So the game will try to match you up with players of equivalent skill levels and the same roles on other teams. But Blizzard can't promise that will always be the case. And that will be harder to match, but it's really cool they're actually trying to add that system to let anybody do it. It's a great change, and I'm glad they're doing it. On a similar note, solo players will only play against self-explanatory narrow groups or other solo players. Reading between the lines, that actually prevents solo players from being matched against a group that has players with far higher or lower rank. So this is definitely quite the challenge that Gavin's taking on, and I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. This is unprecedented territory for Overwatch, really, and this is what has me excited. This is the kind of stuff that gets people into the game, makes them want to stick around, and it's just a great change. So, you know, best of luck to Gavin for tackling this. It's going to be a hard system, and I really hope it works out, dude. I really hope it works out. Best of luck to him on that. This is going to be some tough shit, but I think he can do it. So good luck, Gavin. In addition, Gavin added this approach to help mitigate the problem of Smurf, since it's less likely that players will need to create a new account to play with a friend who is at a very different rank. Interesting. And then the ultimate rank, I honestly have not heard too much about it. I know that those restrictions for grouping will still be an ultimate, but it's just a rank above GM. And that probably does need to happen, but I'm going to wait and see on that. I know that probably doesn't matter to a lot of you, but I'm glad that they're doing it, and I guess I'm going to have to try to hit ultimate. Dude, see, this is what's good, though. It makes me want to play. It makes me want to grind. And God damn it, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole again. But, you know, if it's for the right reasons and the competitive system is actually worthwhile, I think it will help bring people back to this game. Moving forward, they need to address the heroes behind the battle pass. It is atrocious that accounts that bought Overwatch 1 still can't have to do all these challenges to unlock Kiriko, unlock Wife Weaver, when these heroes have been out of the battle pass for months. You either have to buy the character, which is just like, guys, there's no integrity in that. And the claims that Overwatch 2 made, basically stating that they don't believe that it's going to violate competitive integrity. Look, this is going to come from a BS perspective for some people, because like I have a lot of accounts, but there's a lot of people out there like me who, you know, don't play Overwatch every season but bought Overwatch 1. There is no reason Kiriko or Lifeweaver or Ramantra, heroes that were in the battle pass 1 year ago or maybe longer, should be locked at any point in time in competitive, especially if they happen to get buffed and be the flavor of the month. That is not the PvP experience that's fair to the player. That is not the PvP experience that is fair to Overwatch. And I understand that they need to make their money. But in my opinion, that is so far out of the realm of what's reasonable to the consumer with how much the skin prices are, which I don't really have a big gripe with because they're cosmetic. If you want to buy the skin, that's your choice. And I think they should make money on cosmetics. But half these heroes being behind paywalls, even for players who bought Overwatch 1 when they came out a year ago, is ridiculous. And when these guns were actually in Warzone, like for example, this is Warzone's model, the new guns would come out, but like the next season, if you didn't unlock the guns that were meta and were insane, like the Kimbo Marco SMGs came out, they were like tier 15 in the battle pass. You could buy that tier instantly, like the new Overwatch heroes, right? And you just had the gun and you had a blueprint for it. The next season, they unlock those guns by default for everybody. And that needs to be the same for Overwatch characters. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, what if you have somebody who has never played the hero trying to pick the character in comp? Buddy, I see one-tricks playing heroes that they should never touch now in the game, right? The game is better when those things are unlocked. So if they fix that and this new competitive system comes out, aside from 5v5 being worse than 6v6, LOL, at least for the tank role, Overwatch is actually going to be in a pretty good spot. You know, they actually would have upgraded a lot of things. So this is some interesting stuff. And those are my thoughts on the new rank changes. I'm pretty excited to see what they do. What do you guys think down in the comments? I really want to bring up that point about heroes being behind the battle pass. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that heroes that have been out for a year, you either need to spend $9 to unlock them or play 50 games or 10 games while queued all roles. No. They should just be unlocked, or have a stupid little practice range challenge for them, or play a game in quick play with the character if that's what you want it to be. The way it is right now is stupid. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys. Oh, excuse me. I got to go drink water. I'm losing my voice. See y'all next time. Peace out. Oh my goodness.